We're going to find that all of us are going to have to make a mental shift into a higher way of living and a higher consciousness. And listen to that voice inside that resists and insists that we love, play, chant, meditate, and then dance, yo. Sometimes we gotta learn to let go and then take a chance on becoming something other than we've been convinced that we can be. I'm talking a real human being, not this human bling thing. I know the world can be an enemy whose mission be to empty you of empathy, intelligence, and energy. Come around to destroy whatever joy you got left. Beat you down and make you want to give up your last breath. But you don't let them head fake you, shaking, making back. Break you down to the ground. Come around, clown and undertaker. You gotta fight back. And my advice is use whatever poetry, music, and fire you got inside as your weapon. Yeah. Do you dig? Do you dig? Do you dig? Yes. Do you dig? I said do you dig? Do you dig? Do you dig? Now to me, Thoreau and Emerson spoke of the necessity of using both intellectual rigor and spiritual ethic to question and to challenge the wrongs of this world. To demand that we uplift ourselves and others, that we don't just get smart for the sake of being smart. We don't just read a book for the sake of having read it. That we read it with the understanding of, I'm going to find some way to put this to good human use. Right? There's something in here because ancestors of the word and of the spirit have been rapping to me. And I'm led to this space. Let me see what's here for me to use as a tool, as a bulwark against the bullets that are going to fly. To question, to challenge, to dance, to uplift. That we stand against both calcified thinking and ossified faith. Let me say that one again in case somebody else was in the mental bleachers this morning thinking about everything they didn't turn off at home. They demand that we fight back against calcified thinking and ossified faith. And that we speak it boldly. That we sound our barbaric yawps across the rooftops of this world. But no, it might cost us something. We all see that. I mean, all we got to do is just look back over history and see people who stood up, people who spoke up, people who fought back. We see what happens. So let us not begin to think that it wouldn't happen to us. Right? We understand this. Now, Edna St. Vincent Millay was another poet of conscience. She wrote a poem called Conscientious Objector, and when I was younger, I found my way to that poem, or whatever that poem found its way to me. Listen to these words that Edna St. Vincent Millay has to say. I shall die, but that is all that I shall do for death. I hear him leading his horse out of the stall. I hear the clatter on the barn floor. He is in haste. He has business in Cuba, business in the Balkans. He has many calls to make this morning. But I will not hold the bridle while he clenches the girth. And he may mount by himself, for I will not give him a leg up. Though he flick my shoulders with his whip, I will not tell him which way the fox ran. With his hoof on my breast, I will not tell him where the black boy hides in the swamp. I shall die, but that is all that I shall do for death. I am not on his payroll. I will not tell him the whereabouts of my friends, nor of my enemies either. Though he promised me much, I will not map him the route to anyone's door. Am I a spy in the land of the living that I should deliver people up to death? Brother, sister, the password and the plans of our city are safe with me. Never through me shall you be overcome. Every time I remember that poem, I ask myself, can I do that? I ask myself, can I be that? I don't know. I don't know. I have a family. I have people who I love, people who depend upon me. Can I do something that's going to take me out of their lives? Right? Again, I don't know. Can I find in me what Malay's words ask of me? Can I make that commitment? I truly do not know. But I do know that that kind of commitment must be made. I know that I cannot make that commitment unless I have something I love. Something in us. I cannot make that commitment unless I believe that the poetic mind is stronger than the political mind. The poetic mind to me is the mind that takes two things that seem to be disparate and says, no, there's a metaphor, there's something that connects us, we just have to keep on looking for it. Right? We may not look like this and this are the same, but there's a sameness between us. And we must look for that. Muriel Rukeyser spoke about islands. And she talked about swimmers who were swimming from island to island. And she said basically that it gives a perception that the islands are separate. But once you dig down and go underneath, you find, they're all connected. They're all connected. It's only the illusion of disconnection. Right? And so that's why it takes us to be somewhat disillusioned, to be broken out of the popular illusion. And that's what I think poetry and these things do for us. They disillusion us. They tear away the illusion so we can see what's really going on, so I can see, I'm with you. I'm with you. We are of mind and of spirit, even if we are not phenotypically the same. There's something connects us beyond that. So can I do it? I don't know. Unless I believe that the hand extended in brotherhood and sisterhood, otherhood, and humanity. I have to believe that that is stronger than the fist that is sent to smash them. I cannot make that commitment unless I find something beautiful, green, and shining in the dark detritus of this world. And I often find that in word, in music, and in gathering with those who are of like mind and like spirit. Yes. And to that, I'll end by offering this. We'll start off a little minor, then we'll go a little major. You guys will come in. At a certain point, you'll know it, or you'll feel it. I trust you guys. Apparently, they trust me too. So this piece is called When They Speak of Our Time, They Will Say. When they speak of our time, they will say, this was when truth abandoned our words, when running sores passed for a false prophet's mouth. They will say this was when television super shrinks conducted group psychosis, and when drugged up teenagers lived in a haze of oblivion. They will say this is when blues and jazz meant nothing to all of us lost in the footnote of pop culture hysteria. They will say this was in the after hour of the falling towers that marked who we might become, when halos of metal rain screams upon our cities and smoke blackened the skies until the sun was a jaundiced memory. They will say this was when English spoken with the wrong accent meant an uncertain faith. Fate, in both red and blue states for forgot that God is colorblind. They will say this was the time morality drank of Hollywood's hemlock, as intellectual cowards bowed to the promise of gold. They will say a horrible darkness whispered our names, whispered them until we closed our eyes, until we trembled with fear, until we became the darkness that we feared. They will say that this was a time of war in the name of terror, in the name of freedom, for the sake of peace, so there would be no more war in the name of. They will say this was a time of shrunken bellies and refugees, and of blood being plagued by the ache of disease, and of islands floating away on a raft of human bodies. They will say this was the time of the bullet bite, the misogynist lyric, and the anti-truth, when we all danced to the beat of our children's cracking skulls. This was the time we fought against a self-inflicted genocide. That something human in us stood up to resist the Orwellian jackboot. That finally, in the rumbling throat of Ray Charles, we heard what America could become. And that in the bite of Mark Twain's wit, we finally got the punchline. Finally realized that manifest destiny would no longer patch the human-sized hole in our history. Let them say that it was when we all said yes again and again and again and again to the pages of Pablo Neruda's verses resounding with peace for the coming twilight, peace for the bridge, peace for the wine, peace for the letters that seek us and rise in our blood, entwining the old song with land and love's peace. For the city in the morning when the bread rises, peace. For the ashes of the fallen, peace. For all living, peace. For all waters and lands. Let them say that this was when the woman stepped forward declaring, I am that I am. And we men broke ourselves of the need to break women. Let them say that this was the time we struggled against fist and fallacy. It was of lawyers abandoning courtrooms to plant wheat in Kenyan fields. That this was when truth found our tongues again and we were unafraid to open our mouths and speak it. Let them say that we were a people of faith in a time when faith was in crisis. That we were a people of hope when it made no sense to hope at all. That we still believed that love could be as simple as the images our ancestors painted on caves. Images birthing our first human songs like water and flower, the sun, moon and star, and wind and rain and river and fire. Because even as the earth shook beneath our shoes, we knew there were some things in us that would not change. Let them say it was a time we desperately reached through the malignant maelstrom of electronic chaos and the mad invocations of the soulless who profit from the poisonous pathology of our time. And we found others there with our own eyes and hands reaching back.